Boston Celtics just made a sneaky good move as they send their top prospect to Maine in Baylor Scheierman. That's right. He'll be able to develop and learn, and other players on this Celtics organization have also gone this route that have also found impactful roles for this team. So how will this impact Baylor Scheierman's development, and how will it benefit him in the long run? We're going to be diving into all of this and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support. Shout out to everybody that came through to the stream yesterday versus the Hawks, and tomorrow, as you all know, the Celtics are taking on the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr is going to be in Boston, and he is going to hear it from the Celtics crowd. We will be live once again, so if you want to come join, hang out, taunt on the Warriors, come on by and join us hanging out tomorrow night. But without further ado, let's get into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I said in the introduction, this is the best case scenario for a player in Baylor Scheierman. Like we mentioned, he has been assigned to the Maine Celtics, and this was announced this afternoon from the Boston Celtics. Now, the Maine Celtics do gear up for their season opener, I believe, tonight, or it is this week. So the Maine Celtics themselves will be getting ready to go, and Baylor Scheierman will be joining them. Now, Baylor Scheierman does have a standardized contract, so for people that are confused, he still is on the Boston Celtics. This does not make him a two-way deal, but since he is on a rookie scale contract, he can be sent down to the G League, similar to what we saw with Jordan Walsh last season, where he played a majority of the season on that team to develop and get a better skill set. This was kind of the inference, kind of the game plan for Baylor Scheierman when he was drafted, and Celtics fans weren't expecting this. Maybe he could blossom, maybe he could showcase some skills in the preseason or summer or regular season to warrant him a roster spot, but ultimately Scheierman has yet to do so. In the summer league, he looked pretty solid for this team, but in preseason and the regular season, he didn't look that great. In the regular season, he just hasn't had the time to showcase his skills. Like we said, he's only been able to participate in 3 of the Celtics' 8 games so far this season, and has only been able to play a max minutes of 8 in that time. He does have 1 NBA basket, which he did get in the Wizards game, his first NBA career game, which was absolutely crazy for Baylor Scheierman. He got the game ball for that, and congratulations to Baylor Scheierman on getting that. But ultimately, I think this is the best case scenario for Scheierman and for the Boston Celtics. Baylor Scheierman doesn't have a guarantee. He has a guaranteed roster spot, but he doesn't have a guaranteed role in this Celtics team. He's not an automatic piece coming off the bench, so it's not like it's going to hinder that Celtics part. And for Scheierman, it's going to give him reps and give him some developmental time to get better and get ready to be ready for the regular Celtics squad. If there's any time that the Celtics do experience some injuries and they need to call up Scheierman for him to be an impactful piece off the bench, with him going to the G League and playing in Maine, he'll be able to actually get some run, get some actual comps in and get some runtime actually, so he'll be able to be up to speed and be able to be ready to step up for the NBA. He's not just coming off the bench, sitting out for 5 to 10 games and then getting some ample time. But I think this is going to be good for Baylor Scheierman's development. Like I said, we saw this similar with Jordan Walsh and another Celtic as well, which we're going to be diving into next. So let me know what you guys think down below on this news with Scheierman. But like I mentioned, I think this is key for Baylor Scheierman because I think he can learn a lot of things. And with the Celtics, they've had a lot of these players, like I mentioned, go through similar instances. And Jordan Walsh is that main man. As we all know, Jordan Walsh last season was the Celtics draft pick that they took. They took him in the 2nd round, and Jordan Walsh was expected to maybe even get some action in this rotation after a fantastic summer league and pretty decent preseason. But Walsh ultimately did not get much run throughout the regular season and was sent to the G League for a majority of the season to learn and develop. And for Walsh, that wasn't a knock on him, but ultimately just a kind of, hey, we already have some players that can kind of step up, take over, and play in your role. They already had players like Brissett and Stevens who had some better NBA experience and were a little bit more NBA veterans than a rookie coming in Walsh. So they said, all right, Walsh, we see that you can be this type of player, you can live up to this role, but go and play in the G League, go develop, go have this 1 year where you can actually play basketball, you're not just sitting on the bench. And then ultimately next season, if we have an open roster spot, if we have that rotational spot or that fit spot that you can contribute in open, we'll gladly bring you on to this roster. And for Walsh, that has seemingly been the role this season, as Walsh has inserted himself into this Celtics lineup after that Bucks game, and we've seen him get ample minutes every single game since, playing some solid defense at the wing position and continuing to get better gradually in all aspects of the game by just getting more comfortable on the floor and playing with this Celtics team. We saw through the preseason he seemed to be much more comfortable playing up to speed with the NBA, and now it seems to be translating into full game speed where it's actually contributing and making waves for the Celtics. So let's dive in and let's look at this article courtesy of Noah Dalzell, who did a fantastic job covering this on Celtics blog, talking about Jordan Walsh and kind of how he feels about taking over this role, talking about he didn't expect it to happen this early, obviously, in this season, to be getting some contributions. He likely thought he could end up in Maine, but basically, the way he's been playing has been great, said Jrue Holiday, and even though it's not much showing much up on the scoring sheet, it's much more impacted the game, and that's the type of role that Jordan Walsh is going to present himself to play for this Celtics team. We already know that Jordan Walsh has said multiple times he's not a scorer, he's not a player like that. He's a hustle, hardworking type of guy, a guy that's going to fight for loose balls, go for those blocks at the rim, make that extra play to get an offensive rebound. That's the type of play style that Jordan Walsh is going to bring for the Celtics team, and it was needed in Celtic culture and needed on this bench unit. But continuing to talking about Jordan Walsh, like Walsh said, he took noticeable skills in kind of taking over his game from last season and working on his actual basketball skills and his mental outlook to get better. And I think seemingly having Walsh knowing and going through all of these things can help out Baylor Scheierman, as he's a player that is going to go through this as well this season. Also, Jordan Walsh recognizes talent and wants to stay impactful and make sure he gets to be on the court at all times, and watches and pays attention mainly on Jrue Holiday to make sure he gets his defensive prowess and to understand how he is influential on the court. And I can see Scheierman learning those types of things, and I see Scheierman kind of excelling as being this best player for this G League as well. I want to mention that as Walsh was one of their better players last season. They did have some two-way guys, Peterson, Davison, Watson, Anton Watson. Those are guys to watch it as well. But Scheierman and those three two-way guys should be, the main focal leaders of this team. And Scheierman should be getting a lot of looks, a lot of opportunities to be able to get his jump shot more comfortable, more fluid, as we've seen it be a little bit wanky through the preseason so far and through the regular season. But in the minutes that he's played, but him just getting more up to game speed, more comfortable, just feeling more relaxed, getting those rookie jitters out is going to be key for him to earn that potential roster spot. And with Walsh kind of analyzing Jrue Holiday because he sees him as a very similar type of player, harnessing that defensive side, I think that a player in Baylor Scheierman can look on the opposite spectrum and look at the offensive side and kind of mirror some of these players and learn some things from some of these other stars on this Celtics team, taking things from Sam Hauser, who's already said he's been a big mentor for Baylor Scheierman throughout the entire offseason and with this team in general. I think Sam Hauser is the perfect role model for Scheierman to kind of learn and get up to game speed, because Sam Hauser also was playing for the Maine Celtics, and that's how he started his career. Undrafted through the G League, worked his way up to a standardized contract, got himself a long-term extension in a solidified role. And if Scheierman can see that path from an undrafted guy, Scheierman then can know and realize that if he can get into those untapped skills and really lock into being his best self and best scoring ability, he could be a player like Sam Hauser. And I truly think that he could be even better than a player like Sam Hauser. He presents that similar size and shooting ability that Sam Hauser presents, but he has better playmaking skills with a little bit of that point guard play, with a little bit of a mix of Pate and Pritchard. And I think that could be really impactful for the Celtics down the line if they get into some contract issues and stuff. But having Hauser being that mentor, even looking at players like Tatum and Brown and Derrick White, who are very, very great offensive players, and similarly with Brown and Tatum being in that wing department, I'm sure Baylor Scheierman is going to learn a lot of tips and tricks. And not only is Baylor Scheierman just a fantastic shooter and scorer, but man, oh man, can he rebound and play defense. So learning some things from Jordan Walsh, learning some things from Jrue Holiday would be key as well. And I think Walsh and Hauser are those perfect mentors, role models, guys to have in the building to just prove a point once again to Scheierman that just because you're a 30 overall pick, just because you get sent to the G League, just because you're playing on a standardized contract down in there, you can still earn yourself just in 1 year a rotation spot on this team and be getting real time minutes, as we've already seen it with Jordan Walsh this season. I think that's key. I think that's the main message for Baylor Scheierman. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you guys feel about this move? What do you guys think ultimately about Baylor Scheierman? Ultimately, he hasn't been the best player, but hasn't gotten the most minutes, and obviously is a rookie as a 30th overall pick. So having these high expectations, asking for a player to come in and be an impact 8th, 9th guy off the bench was some very high expectations that some Celtics fans went into it this season, and kind of seeing him in Maine and getting this development, I think is going to be key for the Celtics in the future if they get into some of those contract issues, and might need Scheierman to kind of take over a wing bench spot in the needed future. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Once again, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. I'll catch you guys tomorrow if you do join the live stream for the Warriors. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out and go Boston Celtics.